Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Rasich. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Visionary Inc. Thank you for joining this morning. We have a great crowd. We had 134 registered for this webinar this morning, and agents are pouring in right now as we speak. So I am going to get started. I want you to know that I did remember to record this webinar. So for those of you who will want a copy, I'll have that to you. So again, thanks for joining. Also, I want you to know too, and I always forget this, but I'm not going to forget it now, is that there's a place on your menu screen where you can ask questions, you can chat me as I go through this presentation, and at the end, I will make every opportunity to answer those questions for you. So let's get started. I hope to get this thing done so you guys can get back to work, make some money. All right, again, this is going to be a snapshot. Visionary Inc. introduces InstaBrain term. It's non-med. There is not going to be an APS, so there's no exam. There's not going to be writing your doctor. It's guaranteed instant decision. I'll get into that in a little bit. It has absolutely, hands down, the best unbelievable chronic illness writer in the industry. And for those of you who are interested in commission, it's 120% commission. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending, and we look forward to working with you. Well, I'll give you a little bit more information than that. But not bad, huh? Okay. So what's really good about InstaBrain is the fact it's a selling system, and there are other products on this system as well. One of them is InstaBrain Term. And again, there's a lot of carriers out there today that say it's instant decision. Hogwash. This truly is an instant decision product. So what does that mean? By the time you and your client are done with the application, you and your client are going to know exactly if it's been approved and at what rate class it is. So again, I'll get into that in a little bit. And again, for those of you who are joining me right now, my name is Joe Rasich. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Visionary Inc. So what are we going to cover today in this webinar? Well, who is Visionary? Okay, that's us. I have been in the life insurance business longer than I want to admit. So actually in 1977, I was selling life insurance across the kitchen table. 1981, I owned and formed a company called Brokers Alliance, which is still being run today by my son, David. And we at Visionary look for unique product offerings. There's a lot of carriers out there, that you hear about all the time. I'm looking for the unique product. So when I first, and I am a consultant for this product, but when somebody said, hey, we're going to introduce another term product, I'm going, boring, right? We need another term product, like we need a hole in the head, but it's different. I'm going to talk about what CC is means, what it means to you and what it means to us. We're going to talk about commissions. We're going to talk about policy fees, and that policy fees truly are a detriment to your commissions and your pocketbook. We're going to talk about unique features of this product. And again, thank you for those of you who are joining. We have a great crowd today. Like I said, we have 134 registered, and we're about 75% there. So again, thank you for joining. We're going to talk about the unique features of this product. What is special, right? Again, term insurance, right? What is special about InstaBrain that not only your client will love, but you will like to use in your presentation? What makes InstaBrain different? We're going to talk a little bit about the contracting process. And once you're approved, the registration that you're going to get so that you have access to the InstaBrain system, which is really state of the art. We're going to talk briefly about two other products that we offer here at Visionary, and we're going to just touch on those. All right, I just talked to you and told you who is Visionary. Again, I've been in the business for over 40 years. We have 90 years of life insurance experience. So we have a number of our staff with us today. Actually, one of them, Fred Taberry, I think he has 89 of those 90 years of life insurance experience. Just kidding, Fred. Again, I started Brokers Alliance in 1981. Currently, Visionary is a national marketing organization, and we strive on offering unique products to agents in all 50 states. Again, like I said, another term product feature, InstaBrain is unique. And as I thought, we need another term product in the industry to, make it more confusing, like we need a hole in our head. But this one is different, I promise. It has the best insurance technology for both the agent and the client. It is non-med, and it is a true guaranteed instant decision platform up to $1 million based on age. Has a very easy online app process directed by you and or for the client to complete. So if a client just wants to go ahead and complete it at their own, they can do that. The brain of InstaBrain. This is what I think is unique, is that while you're filling out the application, it is actually telling you what rate class that client is receiving at the time. So you might start out at preferred, but the client might be a little overweight, and it will automatically change that rate, which allows you to change the rate class, change the term length or the amount of life insurance. And again, unlike other carriers, you really get the insta decision on this product. Very competitive premiums against other so-called instant issue platforms. It's very competitive against other traditional term products that offer living benefits. There's a cost to those living benefits. So again, if you're going against the rock bottom, dirt cheapest product, we're going to be in the ballpark, but we're not going to be the cheapest. I'll just tell you that up front. There's a cost to some of this. Rates are guaranteed 10, 15, 20, and 30-year level term. I'm going to have you're going to get, if you haven't got it already, the new underwriting guideline for InstaBrain. It's current age pricing, where most carriers out there, 90% of them or more, are going to go nearest age pricing. We're current age. InstaBrain has a competitive, commissionable policy fee. That's key. And we are available in all states except the wonderful state of New York. And for whatever reason, they're not in Wyoming. There's actually, I think, more horses in Wyoming than there are people. That might have something to do with it. And again, we have some eye-popping commissions. And again, it has, hands down, the best chronic illness writer in the industry for paying benefits. And it is underwritten through Fidelity Life. It is rated A- excellent and was founded in 1986. Okay, I talked about CCE as one of the things we're going to talk about. Okay, and after 40 years in this business, it basically boils down to 3 letters: C, C, and E. An agent wants a competitive premium to be able to offer to their clients. Is it always going to be the cheapest? No, because premiums today, it is a dart throw. And again, there's companies every day competing to be the #1 cheapest on the spreadsheets. That doesn't necessarily make underwriting as easy. It just says that the premiums are cheap. And oftentimes they don't even qualify for those cheap premiums. Commissions are important to agents, don't you think? You have to make a living. You have to be able to justify the fact that your product that you're offering is not the lowest cost in the world. And ease. Today, insurance companies have made it easier for an agent to complete the process. All right. And that's one of the nice things about InstaBrain. It literally, if you have a healthy client, can take 8 minutes to complete the application. InstaBrain has all three of these: competitive premiums, great commissions, and ease. So let's go and get to the point and answer some questions. First of all, commissions on a competitive term plan. So again, there's great carriers out there. They've been in business for a long time, and they're going to be competing just like any other company. Other competitive carriers offer between 75 and 100% commission, depending upon the plan, the length of term, et cetera. Okay, so that's nothing new. I've seen some really high commission products that are not very competitive. Okay, they're outrageous, and in fact, usually table 4. And maybe it could, if somebody's got some health problems, that might fit the scenario. But if you have a relatively healthy person, those premiums with those really high comp are hard to get. We are different. We're going to give you high comp for a competitive product. So InstaBrain commissions, we're going to pay you 100. We're not. Fidelity is 120% for 20 and 30-year term. And by the way, they just changed their process. Ready for this? They pay daily commissions. So if you wrote something today, there's a good chance, depending upon the bank account, or if they're drawing money from a bank versus a credit card, which are options, it may take a day or two, but they're going to start the commission process daily. 115% for a 15-year term, and again, 110% for a 10-year term, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty good for a quality product. A lot of agents ask me if they can get annualization, and yes, they can. It's 50% annualization, again, as long as you have been a good human being, you don't have a vector, you don't owe a carrier any money. So a vector is if you didn't pay a carrier back the money that you were advanced, they put you on a list that all other carriers have access to. So again, if you don't have that, that's not a problem. You'll get the annualization without a problem. If you do have a problem, they're going to maybe even offer you as earned. So they're not going to completely not pay or not contract. So is the company an excellent rated AM Best company? Yes, it is. As I mentioned, Fidelity Life, A- excellent, and formed in 1896, about the time that Fred DeBerry was starting in the business, I think, right, Fred? Is it competitive? We talked about that. When you compare this product in its class, we're very competitive. So that, when you're talking about other carriers who are saying that they have an instant decision, even though it's not, they still reserve the right to do an APS or an exam or send you to the underwriter and they interrogate you, your clients. But again, we're very competitive in that class, and we're very competitive as well in the traditional guaranteed. All right, so I'm just going to give you a quick example. So I'm going to show you a male age 50 non-tobacco standard rate, 30-year term for $500,000. I built this commission grid, which I think is great. So here you go, 50-year-old male, right? Fidelity Life, InstaBrain. That premium for that 50-year-old male at standard rates is $235.34. There's the annual premium. They have a $95 commissionable policy fee. Notice in red, these are commissions that are not commissionable. So commissions can be a detriment, policy fees can be a detriment to your pocket. So AIG, Corebridge, they changed their name. I don't know why, but they did. Selected term, they are about $1 less a month than us. So it's $28.18. Subtract the $64 policy fee, and that's your commissionable policy fee. All right. Banner is $236. Protective Life is $237. Pac Life is $239. And Banner has another company, a marketing company called Ethos that they use to sell. Ethos competes with you every day. I see commercials. I hear it on the radio every day. Ethos is competing with you, the agent, to take your clients. So their premium's pretty hefty at $289.67. It's a very similar platform. They say that it's instant decision, but it's not. They do reserve the right to ask for additional underwriting, where we do not. They have a $90 policy fee. When you look at this, okay, if you look at InstaBrain, you wrote a case on this 50-year-old, you're going to make $3,388.90. Okay, you're going to get advanced 50% or as earned, whatever you want, and that's on 2824 of commissionable premium. There's annual premium. There's a commissionable premium. Now, I just threw in some. So again, I don't know what commission level you're at, but if you are at Corebridge and you're making 95%, you're going to make 2617. What does that mean? That means if you sold InstaBrain, you're going to make $771.72 more than you would have if you sold Corebridge at $1 less a month. And InstaBrain has a long-term care benefit, and it's instant decision. So again, I could go through every single one of these and do that comparison. So I could change this, right? What if I said I'm only getting 80% commission, and there it goes. So it changed it to 2,000. That means InstaBrain you're going to earn $1,185 more for doing the same thing as Corebridge. So again, this is really kind of cool to see how and why you can make more money selling that. Okay. Trying to figure out how to get this larger. All right. So again, beware that policy fee, especially on smaller face amounts. It's amazing. Not everybody's out there selling $500,000, $500,000, $1 million policies. All right. We still get a huge amount of life insurance policies under $250,000 and less. So let's take a 45-year-old male, preferred plus non-tobacco for $150,000, 20-year term. That's kind of bread and butter stuff, right? Banner is $221.55. And I was using them because they were always showing up lowest on the spreadsheet. And it, like I said, it changes every day. AIG now is a little cheaper, Corebridge, sometimes Protective. Ethos is $286. Again, you don't own your client with Banner Ethos. They own your client. I don't know why you'd want that, but that's something that you need to be aware of. Fidelity InstaBrain is $267, so we're a little bit more than Banner Life and a little less expensive than Banner Ethos. They have nearest age pricing, so if their client is 6 months closer to the next birthday, that premium's going up, well, we're the same. Both Banner plans have a $90 non-commissionable policy fee. Both Banner products reserve the option of waiving underwriting. They do not guarantee it. It's an option. Fidelity's is guaranteed. They have a $95 policy fee, but you're getting commission on it. Therefore, on those smaller face amounts, you're making a ton of money. And with a superior product, Fidelity will offer your client an instant decision, guaranteed, and they include the best chronic illness rider, and it's included in that rate of $267.50, where the others don't. Here's a quick example. And again, this is huge, ladies and gentlemen. So Banner, take the annual premium, subtract the $90 policy fee, and you're going to get paid commission on $131.55. At 85% comp, you're going to make $111.82. Okay? With Fidelity, the premium is a little more, It's actually $4.44 more per month, but you have a chronic illness rider included. Take the 120% comp and you're making $321 instead of the $111. And again, for $4.44, you earn 287% more commission, or you're going to put $209.18 additional comp in your pocketbook. And again, that $4.44 extra gets you a chronic illness rider. So again, is this just another term product? Well, it's a term product, but it does have some features for your client and helps you to make a living in this business. Very competitive today, right? You got companies like Ethos, Banner Ethos, that are competing for your client on a direct basis. Again, this chronic illness rider. So a lot of companies have living benefits today. This chronic illness rider is second to none. I mean, I'm going to just go ahead and show you what this thing does. So let's demonstrate it. So let's take that 50-year-old male for a $500,000, 30-year term. He buys it with InstaBrain. Okay, so he's got coverage till he's 80. He pays the industry low cost. In this case, at a standard rate, we were $235.34. I got to change that. We're second. I think AIG just went, or Crower Bridge went to $234. I didn't change it. My fault. InstaBrain includes both the traditional terminal illness rider that most carriers have, and an industry first, nothing like a chronic illness rider. So 10 years later, your 50-year-old client, 10 years later, cannot perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living that's been qualified by his doctor. Doctor says, hey, this guy is, he cannot perform it. He's going to be, he needs long-term care for the rest of his life. What are you going to do, Fidelity? Okay. Fidelity's, once he gets that letter, they're going to pay him 50% of the death benefit. So they're going to write him out a check while he's alive for $250,000. All right. You still with me? It gets better than that. Now, a lot of carriers will say, hey, we'll pay you up to 80%, 85%, 90% of the death benefit based on what? Long life expectancy, the whole 9 yards. So again, we don't do that. Your client knows what they're going to get. So, again, I talked about the definition of long-term care and 2 of the 6 activities of daily living that they cannot perform. So unlike other long-term care policies, there's no 90-day wait. Most companies will say you have to be show that you are, permanently unable to perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living for 90 days. And on the 91st day, we'll go ahead and consider paying your claim. All right. With Fidelity InstaBrain, there is no 90-day wait. There's no fee. A lot of carriers will charge a $250, $300, $500 fee to process the claim. We're not going to do that. And unlike other carriers, InstaBrain will keep the other $250,000 in force for your client. When they need it most, there's extra death benefit available to your client. And if you've been in this business, you know that a lot of carriers out there will reduce the death benefit by 90%, and they'll keep, if they pay any claim whatsoever, right, any amount, they'll reduce that face amount to 10% of the original death benefit, and you have to pay for, their client has to pay for it. So not only will they keep the $250,000 in force for this client, in this example, the policy is paid up for the rest of the term of 20 years. So they have a paid up term policy for the remainder of the term period. Nobody does that. If you have one that does, show me. So again, client receives $250,000 in cash. When they need it to use for anything they want, it's an indemnity. they want to take a trip around the world, if they want to buy a boat, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. They're not going to ask for receipts. They're just going to write a check. Plus, the rest of the death benefit, like I said, is still in force, and no other premiums are billed to your client. Now, is that worth the extra $4.44 in that other example? Are we going to be the cheapest in the industry? No. Are we going to have benefits that are going to really work for your client when and if that time comes? Yes, we are. Yep, and there's even more. InstaBrain added an additional 5 years of coverage after the 30 years. So if somebody didn't have any problem whatsoever, and at the end of that 30-year period of time, in this case, the gentleman's 80 years old, they can keep that policy in force for another 5 years. Now, it is an ART. It's going to be expensive, but if they have some life-threatening illness, they'll be glad to pay for it. That's waived too in this scenario. So not only do they get the extra 20 years, right, the remaining of the 30, but now they're going to get 25 years of paid up life insurance to age 85. I hope you got that, because this is what separates policies. Okay, so I'm talking about there is a choice. The client has a choice. They can take the $250,000 and they can get that paid out, which is $6,944 in this example, over a 3-year period of time. They don't want it all at one time. They want to spread it out to use it over the next 3 years. Figure out the math, 6,944 times 12 times 3, you're going to get $250,000. Or they can take a lump sum upfront, time value of money, for $230,000 all upfront. So there is that choice. Commissions, again, going to be paid directly by Fidelity Life, 120% commission. We would like you to, if you get appointed, we want you to be active in here. A lot of agents, and I'm just going to be truthful, a lot of agents, they take a lot of time and they go get contracted, but then do nothing. So again, we'd like you to, if you know that you're going to write this, we more than are happy to go ahead and get you contracted. And we just hope that you write a case in the next 60 days after you register. InstaBrain is not term product. It is not a substandard type company. They're not looking for people who had heart attack in the last couple of years or cancer or anything like that. This is for just being upfront and transparent, right? This is for your standard average health person or better rate class. Because we do have, and I'll show you the underwriting guideline, but really that's what it's for, right? We don't want somebody who's on dialysis and stuff like that. We have other carriers that can do stuff like that, but not InstaBrain. So again, it's not something, and again, I want you to say standard. It's amazing how all of a sudden people think, oh, it's non-med, I could just throw anything I can at this. It's not. That's not the way it works. So with InstaBrain, a client must have a social security number, no TIN, right? No visa. They have to have a social security number. The client in the beginning has to be the insured and the owner at the time of application. Because it's an online application, we need to have that verification. Once that insured is approved and has a policy, if they need to change the ownership, they can at that time. At least the insured is driving this, not the owner. And I want you to be a salesperson and not an order taker. I know term insurance, it's not hard for clients to get on some sort of quote system, and they say, well, Corebridge is $1 less a month. Well, but you got to sell it now. Yeah, it's $1 less, but you're not going to get a decision right away, and they don't have a chronic illness rider. That type of stuff. Okay, the underwriting guideline. Oh, I know. Let me see here. There we go. AI is popping up everywhere, don't they? So here's the InstaBrain guideline. You'll get if you haven't gotten this already, you will. And if you have a hard time, if you have insomnia and you have a hard time sleeping, hey, go grab a agent guide and then start reading it. Probably in 10 minutes, if not sooner, you'll be sound asleep. Okay. It's like reading the back of an oatmeal box. But anyhow, here it is again. It's for issue ages 18 to 60. They have different risk classes: preferred plus, preferred, standard, standard extra, tobacco, preferred tobacco, standard extra. It's out of order, but that's what they have. And they have a preferred tobacco and a table rated tobacco. Policy fee is $95 as mentioned, and it's commissionable. There is no administration fee for the living benefit, as I said, right? Client's going to get paid 50% up front. There's your chronic, up to 50% of the face amount payable over 36 months or a lump sum. And again, I don't want to go through this. I kind of touch base on it. So an 18 to 55-year-old is eligible for $1 million of coverage. They could get the 10, 15, 20. All right. If they're a non-tobacco, they can get $1 million for 30 years for from 18 to 50 for $1 million. If they're tobacco, they have to be at least 45 years old to get the 30-year term. Smoking is detrimental to your health. Have you heard that before? Again, product features, there's that 5-year ART that I was talking about. And again, the system of InstaBrain is so simple. It is very, very simple. So let me see if I could figure this out and get back here to what let me see. Okay. So let me get back here and let's talk about the personal portal that you will get. Okay, so when you register or when you get appointed, you're going to get a welcome letter. Okay, so thank you. Fidelity says, thank you. You've been a good boy and girl. You're approved for the 50% annualization if you want it. I get more and more agents wanting as earned. I love it. I'm not a fan of annualization, but if you got to have it to pay lead costs, so be it. So there's your 3 products currently on the InstaBrain platform, which is the InstaBrain term, which I just talked about. They have an accidental death benefit up to $300,000 available, and they have a guaranteed issue product, ages 50 to 85, covers $5,000 to $25,000, guaranteed approval, no health questions whatsoever. It's got a 3-year wait, full benefit on the first day of the 4th year, builds cash value, pays for really good commission. It grades down the older they get, but it's still pretty good. There's a quick quoter. You need a quote. What do you want to quote? The accident plan, the InstaBrain term, the guaranteed issue. You say InstaBrain term. It pulls up the quoter. You select the state, current age. I'll say 50, male, non-smoker. I'll say standard rate class. This always seems to take a long time. There we go. I'll say that 500,000. Hopefully they didn't change the rates. There's that 30-year term, $235.34. Okay, just as I said. So you're talking to your client and you want to add a quote. You want to say, well, you want to see a 250,000. You can do that, or you can start the application process. Okay. You start the application process, and while in the process, your client's doorbell rings, and he says, "Can I finish this on my own?" I could answer, "Sure." All you have to do is kick it over to them. When you kick it, it's going to say, "Here's your here's your client's email address." You could do this text. You could send it on a text on their mobile. However, Now, as you're filling this out, as I mentioned, you'll see here that it's in progress at a standard quote because that's what I picked. All right. As I answer questions, and maybe he's a little overweight, right? There's a height and weight chart in that agent guide. You can, it'll automatically change this. So maybe it started out at preferred, and then because of the height and weight chart, turn it to standard. You know that right away, and you can then edit the quote. That's phenomenal. Again, I don't want to, all of this is available to you once you get appointed, and that's a good thing. All right. So I just showed you the quick quoter. You can get quotes on our Visionary website. Okay, and that's, should have put it here. It's visionarylifeinsurance.com. visionarylifeinsurance.com. And you would just go here and you would register. Okay, if you're already registered, all you have to do is log in and it should be automatic. You don't have to sit there and type it in 50 million times. But if you want to become an agent and you're not tied to us in any way, shape, or form, you are an independent agent. There is no production requirements from us. And then you would log in and you can have access to our website, and you could quote term and UL, you could quote final expense, and you could quote our immediate first day coverage guaranteed issue whole life policy that we have introduced just recently. Okay. CompuLife is a very well-known quoter. Best Plan Pro, it has InstaBrain on it, and so does FEX Quoter, FEX. They do a lot of final expense quoters, but they also have a term side as well. So I say this because many of you may have this and want to know where you want to get your quote. I'm the presenter. I've been around for a long time. Matthias Hollis just joined us, and he will be sending you out, if you haven't received it already, you're the next step in starting to get contracted with InstaBrain. So you're going to get that underwriting guideline that I said. If you have a quote request because of a health condition, it might not be for InstaBrain, but we could find something for you. There's a copy of the commission schedule that I talked about, the 120%. You'll see Pure Term on there too, because Fidelity just came out with Pure Term. They stripped out the quotes for the long-term care because maybe a younger person isn't worried about that at this point in time. So they have a cheaper version of the InstaBrain term without the living benefit. Same comp, 120%, lower premium, doesn't pay commission on the policy fee. So I just want to let you know that. There's a consumer brochure. Here's what you need to know. Okay, other unique products through Visionary Inc. And again, you can start asking questions, write them down. I'll check the thing in a second here. Oh, we got quite a few questions. So guaranteed issue. We have a guaranteed issue product through Visionary Inc. It's an A+ rated carrier. There's no underwriting. There's no health questions, okay? From ages 18 to 70, from 10,000 to 80,000. Again, it's whole life. First day coverage, ladies and gentlemen. It's extremely competitive against Gerber and those other guaranteed issue products. And it's available in all 49 states, not New York. So if you're in that final expense business, we have, I think, for those people, the only qualification is that the client has to be working a minimum of 20 hours a week and have done so for the past 3 months. They don't have to be part of a group. In fact, this group only will take individuals who are working. They could be a ditch digger, they could be a landscaper, they could be a brain surgeon, a teacher. It doesn't make any difference. As long as they're working for wage or profit, they can get it. Contracting, Fidelity product contract, if you're a producer. If you have agents, at least 5 or more agents, there is a general agent contract available with proof of who you're writing for and all of that. One other product is we have annuities. We just started some annuities. We have a guaranteed issue long-term care annuity that no one can get denied. Okay, so long-term care is expensive. It doesn't guarantee the rates. It's hard to qualify for. And we have a guaranteed issue long-term care annuity that, ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable if you're selling annuities. And we have a MYGA 3-year guaranteed rate at 5.65. I believe that is the best rate in the industry today. So I'm going to leave this, I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to leave this up right now. That didn't get centered very well. So let's go. Let me see some questions here. All right, questions and answers. So thank you all for joining us. Yes, we compete with foresters very well. Both on their, they have 2 products. They have the Strong Foundation, which they're limited in the face amount, I think $500,000 now, but very competitive, yes. Is there a cap on the advance payout? There is an advance that really based on you and any sort of, proof that you can prove that you're doing it, you're a good boy or a good girl. We do have some caps, so we could talk about that. Yes, it is convertible to a permanent plan. There is no critical illness rider on this. It's just a chronic illness rider. However, we do have a standalone guaranteed issue critical illness rider. That is with the same company that had that 80,000 of guaranteed issue. We have that as well. Let me see what else. Some other questions here. Policy fee is every year. It's $95. So in the second year, again, that $95 policy fee was baked into the rates. So the rate's not going to change. But it is every policy fees with all carriers are every year. Yeah, there is a mobile app. You can quote it and you could take an application on your mobile app. Good question. No, we have all of the Fidelity products available through Visionary. Not all of them are on the platform, but we do have InstaTerm, which is a product. I'll wait for the applause, but I actually created that product. But I'll be honest with you, InstaBrain blows it away. So just to let you know that. So we have all of their products. And as far as, just send me an email, joe@visionaryinsurance.life, if you want to know about that guaranteed issue product. Now, again, thank you all for joining us. We still have a lot of people on board, much appreciated. Just to answer these questions, that guaranteed issue product is incredibly competitive, unbelievable competitive. And they go to 80,000. So commissions are not going to be what you think, like, we 120% with InstaBrain. It's not going to be like that because, again, anytime you start baking in guaranteed issue and higher amounts, you're looking in that final expense area. And if somebody wants first day coverage versus a graded coverage, there's nothing better than this. So the policy fee is an annual policy. It's $95 a year. That's every year. It's baked into the rates. There's no, you can't. So, if it's $237 the first year or $235 a month the first month, it's going to be like that for the remainder of the term product. So that $95 is not monthly. It's annual. It's an annual, and it's divided by 12, and it's commission. Okay. Let me see. I think I've answered all of the questions. No, not yet. Yes, you will receive. You saw that what's next there is where you can get contracted. So thank you for that question. Yes, you should be getting, if you haven't gotten it already, you will be getting that follow-up right here, right there. You will be getting this where you can get contracted. So you just click on that button and you're ready to go. They don't have a payroll deduction product. I'm sorry about that. This is just a basic term product for individuals. So they don't have a list bill. So each individual person has to buy it. All right. I believe that is it. So what these are heaped commission. So the basic commission with this product, when it started out, it was 100% commission with 2% renewal. Well, InstaBrain decided that they were going to keep this up. So instead of waiting, if 2% a year times 10, that's 20% over the next. You're going to get it up front. So again, think about this. The street commission on this is typically 100%. It's now 120. So you're getting that renewal rate baked into the first year rate. You could take that extra 20% and bank it. You could invest it. You could buy gifts with it. You could do all kinds of things. So again, no renewals. The renewals have been built in. No Social Security deduction options. This is direct bank account, credit card, debit card. And again, all of that information is in the agent guide. The ability to quote for a client is not there. The ability for them to complete the application is available to them. I have a question in here about the length of time the policy needs to be in place before the commissions are impacted. Again, my email is joe@visionaryinsurance.life. I apologize, I don't totally understand that question, but again, I can, leave me your phone number, I'll call you up and we could talk about it. I'm not understanding that question right now. All right, it is 11:50. Pretty much where we wanted to go. Oh yeah, let me see here. Yeah, there are chargebacks in the event you got advanced and they dropped the policy. So if you were advanced $500 and they dropped the policy after 1 month premium, yeah, you're going to get charged back. That's only fair, right? The insurance company can't afford to pay an advance and then not collect the future premiums on that advance. So I think all companies are like that. I don't know of another company out there that doesn't, if they're advancing commission, again, they all have different rules. I know like Gerber and some carriers, they will charge you back all of it in the first 2 years. So if in the first 2 years somebody drops their premium, they're going to charge you back all the commissions that you earned up until then. So that's kind of crazy, but everybody has different rules. But yeah, thank you for that question. All right. Still have a large number of participants. I appreciate you taking the time. Any more questions? I don't see anybody chatted me. There are all those questions and answers. Again, you could reach me at 866-398-8293. 866-398-8293. It's Visionary's toll-free number, and my extension is 403. And my email address is joe@visionaryinsurance.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you taking the time. I hope you found this valuable, and we look forward to working with you. Again, we have a slew of products that we have. This one is the hottest selling right now for all the reasons I just told you. All right. I'm going to end the webinar at this point in time. God bless. Stay healthy, and I want to make sure that you have a great rest of the year. Take care.